welcome back to a new project. Pretty random, to be honest with you. Italian night fighters. This is the Falco. This is the CR.42CN from ICM, as you can see, all that 32 scale. So again, another 32 scale bigger kit for me. Get it out of the box. If you know anything about ICM, you'll know that it's boxed pretty well. Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. I've already cut off the fuselage just to see, you know, just have a look. And yes, it's lovely already. Now, previously on this channel, I've built the Gladiator, the Mark 1 Gladiator, and that was one of my favourite kits I've ever done. Lovely. It was that great. I did the Mark 2 version for a Battle of Britain group build, which I hosted, a couple of years ago now, and it was lovely and it's great. And this looks like it could well be already similar. The plastic's obviously the same. It looks like it's going to build up the kind of the same. It looks like it might be a little bit more basic, perhaps. I mean, we will get, obviously you'll see the kit as we go through. It just looks like it's a bit more basic. I don't know why. Not probably because it's a more basic aircraft, perhaps, but the engine. What I've also got is I managed to get hold of some seat belts. There is, if you can find it, a complete PE multimedia suite for this. I can't remember what the company is now, but I was tempted, kind of, but it's long gone. I can't find it anyway. Anyway, so what also we're going to do with this, we're going to try and keep everything as basic as we can. Obviously it's a basic build, and you can pick this kit up really cheap if you look around. So I'm also going to do it in Tamiya XF colours. We're going to keep this as basic as we can. We're going to have, if I need to do any filling, I don't think I will. If we need to do any filling, we'll be as basic as we can on that. We'll probably just use CA, super glue and talcum powder, something like that. So I'm going to keep it as easy and as basic as we can. I mean, let's be honest, it's all pretty basic on the channel anyway, but we'll try not to use really exotic material products. That's probably what I'm getting at. You know, you can, some channels you look at and they use products that you just think, oh crumbs, there's so many of them, and you just all this stuff. Now I'm going to use, this is ready available stuff, as you probably are aware. Anyway, where else to start but the cockpit? So you can see this is just very basic cockpit. It's a very basic build. I do manage to drag this video out to be quite a long one on such a basic build, but there you go. If you stick to the end, you'll be doing well. So this, as with the Gladiator, or the two Gladiators I built from ICM, they are really great as basic biplanes. If you're into biplanes, or you want to get into biplanes and you want a real basic big biplane, the Gladiator and this Falco are really great. And consequently, if you want to add a lot of detail and you like scratch building and you want to add more, then equally they're just as great, because you get lots of scope to add what you like. You can see it is all being made up here quite easily. The plastic is quite soft. It's that grey soft stuff. It's quite nice though. So we're all on cocktail sticks mainly, and we're going to give this a bit of a bit of a paint. Real basic cockpit, as you can imagine. The call-outs calling for XF66, so XF66 can't speak. You ain't see much of a difference in the old colour because they looks pretty similar to me. But like I say, in keeping with the basic build, we'll do a basic paint job. I didn't film this part here. This is very fiddly. Anyway, basic paint, basic all round. Speeded up footage here, as you can probably tell. I've used a lot of speeded up footage on this video just to chivvy the video along a bit. It's pretty basic stuff, as you can see. Like I said, a bit of brush painting on the inside of the cockpit there. I think I did miss out. I think the seat should be metal colour, which I'd missed in the instructions. Just bear that in mind. You can get a full PE set for this, which I think comes with a metal seat as part of it, if you can find it. I'm sure you can. This is Tamiya rubber black, I believe, straight out the bottle, as you can see. No need to, no need for me to thin this down, just on that little area there. Bit of dry brushing. You probably don't need any introduction on dry brushing, but this is titanium white, Winsor & Newton, speeded up footage again. Obviously this is just to highlight the raised areas, as you can tell. There's nothing new there, but it does. I don't think I should have used oil paint. I think my oil paint might be a little bit gritty because it didn't come out as quite as nice as I was hoping to. A bit of augmentation to the cockpit here. These are levers put on the side console here. Just a bit of copper wire, brass wire, drilled out, and as you can see, super glued into place and bent over. They'll also cut down to size, of course, and try not to get it to flick you in the face, which I think one of these bits did. We've used a bit of super glue just to make some ends of the levers here, and then we've come to subsequently paint that white. You can't see it, it's out of focus, do apologise. White undercoat and red, there you go, just to make it a little bit more visible. I'm using Mr. Mark's setter here. I've hardly ever used it. And I should have used the softener, not the setter, because it was a right rigmarole trying to get these to settle down. Again, the decals actually look fine. I don't mind using decals for instrument consoles. I think they look alright. Obviously, depending on what they are, of course. That was a bit of resin, and here's a UV torch just to set that resin off. It's quite a good little trick, this. If you can get hold of a bottle of resin, clear resin, and a UV torch, it does give you a good effect. Good for nav lights as well, obviously, and other lensing that you might need to be doing. This is the firewall on the cockpit there. As you can see, this has all been dirtied up with a dark wash. I think I just used a enamel wash, just any old dark enamel wash for me. The cockpit is a nice big open cockpit, but when it's inside the fuselage it kind of just disappears a little bit, which is a bit of a shame. so I couldn't actually film too much, especially with the seat belts, because they were a bit fiddly, and I kind of just drove on with it really. So what I've actually done, just for a bit of elaboration, if that's the word, you can see that where the combing, just get it here, you can see that's going to fit like that. Oh, that's going to fit like that, and you can just see the back of that. I don't know whether you can see that. Just see the back of the like the instrument panel there. So what I thought I'd better do is put some wiring in. So I just put a bit of wiring in there. We put a couple of levers just inside there. I don't know if you can see them. Just put a couple of levers in there, look, just to make it a bit presentable. And that really is it. Now, not too worried about showing you too much in here, because if I just get the right hand side, you'll see, if I can close these together, and then we'll put this on, temporary. There's literally nothing you can see. It's worse than a Spitfire cockpit, and this is 32 scale. There really is nothing in there that you're going to see, especially when the wing comes on here like this. Is it there? You know, you're just not going to see nothing. So, but you know, we both know that I've got a bit of wiring, I've got some levers that you can't see, and seat belts look relatively alright, I suppose. Yeah, there you go. That is it's really it's a really nice kit actually. I love it. It just reminds me of the Gladiator. It's lovely. Anyway, let's carry on. I do recommend the Tamiya white cap glue for larger areas. Clearly it doesn't go off as quickly as, or doesn't set as quickly as the yellow cap or this extra thin green cap. It's good for large areas, wings, fuselage halves. It's very strong. I've never had it crack on me yet, so if you haven't got any, I'd get some. Extra thin's great, but you do need something that's just going to go for them larger areas. I'm not a Tamiya rep, by the way. I'm just just pointing out it's something I think we should all have in our gluing arsenal. And talk of the devil, here it is again. This is obviously the tailplane, or the horizontal stabilizers going on here. Again, there's no fit issues with this, with any part of this kit. There was a little bit of fill-in that we'll come to shortly. To be honest, it might not even have needed it. It's just, I don't know this aircraft that well. Like there's a gap there, look, on that tail wheel section. There might well be a little panel line, just for want of a better word, on the lower wing stubs here. As you can see, these are going together again nicely. Just had to fiddle around a little bit with this join. You'll see in a minute. I just had to shave just a bit of materials off these wings here, just to get it to line up and to sit nice and flush. Just using a razor blade, very dangerously, of course. You should always be protected. So that gives you a better fit. But what we do have, when it's all glued together and it goes off, we do have a little bit of a gap. Now then, I can't imagine it's meant to be there. It might be. So what I did was just filled it. I just filled it with some with there's this putty, the super putty, whatever it's called. I ain't got it to hand. I can't tell you what it is. You know what that is. And then just used Mr. Colour Thinner just to wipe away when it had gone dry. It wasn't even dry, to be honest. It was still a bit wet, but just to wipe off the excess. Use a cotton bud and that Mr. Colour Thinner, and it wipes away very nicely. In years to come, that will probably shrink and crack and everything, but for the purposes, excuse me, of what we're doing, that's good enough for me. So that looks a lot better. What ICM do, they include a little mask drawing as part of their instructions for you to cut out your own little masks. Okay, it's not a die cut mask as such, but it's still a great little free thing that they offer. Why manufacturers don't do this, I don't know. Going to make up the engine now. This is I think it's a Fiat A74, is it? Radial engine. This goes together again nicely. You have got to watch these two banks of cylinders because they are handed. I did show, as part of my early cut of this video, me fumbling around trying to get the right orientation, but I think that was too boring for this for your viewing, so we cut that out. It is tricky if you're not on it. It can drag you into a bit of a head mess. These are fuel lines. I've done a little bit of scratch building, not a lot, just for a bit of visual look, really, more than anything that's totally accurate. This is just, obviously, as you can see, this is copper wire, just drilled out area onto the top, onto the gearbox there. Was a bit fiddly. Clearly, as you can see, I'm struggling to get that in there. I think I did this one evening, my eyes are tired. That's my excuse anyway. My mistake with the engine was to build it up pretty much all in one go and then paint. What I should have done was separated all the components, the gearbox and everything, and painted them separately, because it just turned out to be more trouble than what I gained. This is as you can see, the canopy going on. Again, this is a great fit. You know, you worry about there might be a gap on the canopy. No, not at all. Just using PVA and a moistened cotton bud just to wipe away the excess, and yeah, it fits really nicely. As you can see, we're ready to do a bit of priming. On the main part, we're going to be in the grey. I've got a bit left in there, I think. But underneath here, underneath the undersides of the model, is going to be primed in black, because it's going to be black anyway, so then we can just paint that easily. I just think I don't want to do the whole thing in the whole fuselage in black, because I just feel it might darken. It just darkens everything down, and to be honest, I'd like to try and get away from using black as much as I can. I know I say that, and I probably won't in the future, but I just feel after a little while, like a couple of weeks, to go back to look at your kit again, I just feel it's just darkened down a little bit. Maybe it's just me, don't know. But anyway, so let's get us all primed. Let's go and paint the engine first. As you can see, what we're using is LP5 for the main engine, semi-gloss black, night black for the propeller. I also used this night black, which is a great colour, for the struts for the wings, as you can see just in a minute. There you go. I always use a night black for props. I think it's a really great It's a great colour, that is. Moving on just to the spinner here. LP7, just over a white base, nothing special. Goes down nice, lovely strong colour, beautiful, more of a car colour really. So this is what we're using for the gearbox on the engine, like a sky grey. And I wish I'd taken a bit more footage of the exhausts. I was really pleased how they turned out. There's a bit more going on onto the finished exhaust than what I show. And I mean, it's nothing technical, nothing special, just used a couple of washes and just dabbed on some colours. But they turned out really well, and this is an example of you should take footage of everything that you do. Don't try and skip things, because you'll go back and wish you had taken that footage. Using a bit of coloured wire out of an old phone charger, I believe, just to tart up the engine a little bit. Really, there's nothing more than that. There's not meant to be accurate in any form, just to make it a bit more visual treat. Which is why I've chose the red. I've got I think it was red in real life, because I can't imagine it would have been, but on the finished thing it just gives you a little bit of something else to look into, because you can actually within the cowling of the engine cowl, you can see the engine quite a bit. This is a lovely little engine out of the box, and someone who's a bit more proficient at scratch burning could make a lovely job of it. Now this little engine was a little bit more involved than I give it credit for. This is where we're at the minute. Obviously the front piece, the collector ring is on, and the back pieces are on. So it's now a case of dropping the panels on, if they'll go on, like this, gluing these on, and we're not going to show any of this. Get them on, and then we'll leave it off, and we can paint it separately. I hope that's what we're going to go for, because it will simply fit on. Simply fit on like that, so we can paint this separately. Like I said, it's a challenge, you know. It needs gluing again, moving around all over the place. But anyway, that's what it's going to look like. I think this actually was the worst part of the kit. The worst part of the kit. That's saying something. This is the weakest part of the kit, shall we say? They go on fine once you get to it and you get stuck in. The cowlings and all the engine parts all fit on nicely, and they go together. But it is a bit of a fiddle. I think they're designed to be off, in fairness, which is a great thing. And I did think, well, let's just PVA one off, or one on, just glue it with PVA, and then should I decide to at a later date, or at the end of this build, I thought to myself, then we could always pull it off and leave this part open. I didn't do that. Will I do it in the future? No. But it's there if I ever remember. It does need a little bit of filler. Just here and there, just on these little, where the panels fit together. It is a little bit gappy. I think, like I say, I think it's kind of meant really to be off. To have all the panels open and to show that engine off. Which you can do quite easily, and it would make your life a little bit easier. But I personally don't particularly like seeing it. For me, I like to see an aircraft look like an aircraft. unless you're in this old same old argument. If it's in a diorama, yeah, open up the panels, let's get it shown. If it's a standalone, I like to see it looking like an aeroplane. As we've mentioned, we're trying to use basic materials and basic stuff. I've used the Tamiya lacquer thinner. I did struggle with it, in fairness. I much prefer the Mr. Leveling thinner, but we persevered with it, and it's fine, and it went down quite nicely, or thinned the paint quite nicely, shall we say. Did struggle a little bit getting the right pattern for the camo, for the model, for want of a better word. There's many ways of doing this. There's many patterns you can do. I did have a look online at give me some ideas, and there was different patterns all over the place. I don't think it matters. If it does matter, please let me know down below if you think this is accurate, or if it's not accurate, or we should have gone a different route. Give me some links so we can go and have a look. This might be, although this might be my first Italian aircraft, it might not be my last. So we all like to get it as good as we can, of course. There's a lot of artistic license in this sort of thing. But I think it turned out okay. Didn't turn out too bad at all. You can see I've got the cap off there, on the needle cap there, and it gives you a little bit more precise. What's the word I'm looking for here? Precise usage, is that the right word? But I have to admit, I did kind of struggle with it. I probably could do with my airbrushes. I haven't given a good old clean, in fairness. But every time I do seem to clean my airbrushes, and they seem to work right again. But anyway, less about that, the better. Again, white undercoat, an XF3 yellow top coat. This is the undersides. Like I said previously, I didn't want to do the whole aircraft with a black primer, because I just feel it can be too much. I don't know whether that's me just overthinking things. I look at some of my old models I've got lying around, and I don't know whether it's me or what, and they just seem to a bit darker than I remember them being. But obviously I'm still going to use the black primer, of course. These are all various blacks or various dark greys. You just got to try and get it down as best you can, and take away the blackness. Essentially, what you're doing, you're lightening up that black as much as you dare. I mean, there is a knack to it, which I've yet to find. Getting that nice, decent black. Obviously, the more times we do it, the better it will be. We did paint the white here on the rudder and on the fuselage. That was just basic. I think it was the undercoat I used. And as normal, we just give it a bit of rub down, just take off any high points and any snots out of the paintwork. What it also did was showed the ribs off. You can see how the ribs are coming through quite nicely. A little bit of a happy accident. So as you can see, we're deckled up. What we did, obviously, we stuck on a couple of coats of X22. Yeah, I know you don't have to be glossing, but yeah, I just like I think I've said before, I just like the feel of a glossed model to play with. It's feels a lot nicer than just the bare paint. Anyway, la-di-da. Decals went down really well. If you know anything about ICM decals, they are ever so thin, which helps them go down really well. But because they are so thin, they can be a little bit tricky to use, i.e. curling up, and for some reason, I wonder if it's the gloss coat, I don't know. When I put mine down, you don't get a lot of chance to move them around. So anyway, that's just me being an idiot probably. So what we're going to do now, we're going to just get on some Starship Filth enamel wash, obviously in the places that need a wash. Excuse me, and then we will come back with a flat coat. Probably, and then we will do a bit more. Not a lot of weathering, I'm afraid. We're not going to do a lot because I don't want to. Essentially, got to do something for the underneath, of course. The decal's gone down really well. Yeah, so that's it. So we'll just have a go at this, placing this wash on, and then we'll come back. So we're back to actually doing a bit of construction. So this is the engine going together. I had to mess about with this a little bit just to try and push it back. He seemed to be a bit too proud of the fuselage, but we got there in the end. Nice bright yellow nose, looks really lovely. The undercarriage legs was a bit of a fiddle. It didn't click into place like I was hoping to, but we got there in the end. I had to use a bit of super glue just to reinforce the bond a little bit. I just felt that the ordinary tamper glue would make it a little bit weak. These are the guns here. These are the machine guns, just PVA'd in. I didn't want to make a mess with obviously extra thin or super glue, so I thought the best thing was something easy like PVA, easily wipe it away, and then go and finish off quite nicely. What I was worried about, was worrying me, was the struts. In fairness, not a problem at all. They go in really well. I wouldn't say they click in, but they click in, so to speak. They glue them as we're doing, and you put them in as I'm showing here. Just line them up with the just making sure you're going into the right place, of course, on the fuselage, and really that is it. They go in really easily. For biplane struts, they're really good. They're better than the Gladiators, if I remember rightly. I'd probably make more of a song and dance of this than what it actually is. I'm making it look worse than actually it is, to be honest with you. Filming this and doing it isn't the easiest thing in the world, but they do go together really, really well, and it's strong as anything. Sometimes with biplanes, they can tend to be a little bit flexible, shall we say. I mean, it's kind of like the real thing, I guess. But these go together really well, really strong. Not a problem. I wouldn't even worry about picking this model up just with the top wing only. It'd be absolutely fine. You can see that black underside now. Oh, and pretty much that's in real time, give or take. So it does go in, and I was worried about it as well. It goes in absolutely fantastically. I'm just sticking on the exhausts here. Just put a bit of black paint on the end of the exhaust on the like the frame in there, and then I can dab that on there, and I know where to drill a couple of little holes. Holes being drilled, and then we can fix the exhausts with a bit of extra thin. I did think about using PVA and letting it go off overnight, but yeah, they would come off in short measure. So just a bit of extra thin. Try not to drip it all over the finished model there, which is normally what I would do. I do as I say, not as I do. I'm cutting some wire. Now I'm using a bit of wire for the struts. Now let me know if it was worth the hassle of doing it, because it was a bit of a hassle cutting wire and not cutting it to length, and cutting more wire and not being cut to length, and it flying everywhere. On the finished model, using a bit of super glue and some kicker there. On the finished model, have a look and let me know what you think. The wire comes in a coil, of course, and not in lengths. What I should have done is used some brass rod, so it's nice and straight. We're coming to the end now. If you've managed to get this far, lads, give yourself a little slap on the back. So you've done really well. So well done. You can see what we're doing. Just unmasking here, and then we've just got a bit of dust effects, and then we're done. So I'd like to thank you for hanging about. If you like what you see, please subscribe and give us a like, and give us an unlike, and give us a bit of chat, and tell me what you think in the comments below. That old chestnut. Obviously, it helps for people to find this video and to find my channel. All the interaction helps, apparently. What do I know? Just a bit of dust here, just to finish it off. So once again, just thank you so much for hanging about and lasting this long. Let me know in the comments below if you did manage to see it through to the bitter end. It would be nice to know. It is a very long video, and it didn't mean to be this long. It's just one of them things. I just left in all the bits that I could have taken out, but there you go. I will see you on the next video. Hopefully it won't be too long. See you around, guys.